Hello and welcome back to Football Scrutiny. Today we're going to be analysing the return of the special one, Jose Mourinho against West Ham for Tottenham. His first game in charge. Let's get into it. West Ham lined up with a 4-1-4-1 system, whereas Tottenham, they made changes with Jose Mourinho playing in the 4-2-3-1 with Davies at left back, Alderweireld centre back, Sanchez centre back, Aurier on the right, Winks and Dyer in the middle with the four up front of Son, Ali, Moura and Harry Kane. I'm going to start by taking a look at the goal kicks from Tottenham. Mourinho had his team lined up to play out from the back by using the two centre backs and the left back just on the edge of the box to try and play out with Aurier moving further forward. We'll take a look at his positioning a little bit later when they're attacking, but for now, when the West Ham front players were pressing, Snodgrass and Haller and Yarmolenko were preventing them from playing out, Tottenham quite simply moved their players further up the pitch and then looked for a long ball into Harry Kane, where they would then be able to make runs off the flick from Harry Kane with Lucas Moura or Son moving in trying to find that flick on behind the defence, or from the two centre midfielders trying to pick up the second ball. Of course, Dele Alli in and around that area too, either trying to pick up the second ball or also trying to move in behind. Let's take a look at some examples. Here in the first half, we can see the three players there pressing the three Tottenham players and preventing them from playing out. Of course, we can't see the right back, Aurier, because he's moved further forward, as we mentioned before. Here's that long ball into Kane, and you can see that Lucas Moura, Dele Alli and Son are moving forward, and then Dyer and Winks are trying to pick up the second ball. Moving on to the attacks now, we're going to take a look at the attacks in Tottenham when they had the fullback high. So that's the right side of fullback, which they often got high up the pitch. Okay, so we're just going to put the Tottenham players in so that we can get an understanding of the way that Mourinho wanted his team to attack. By number 24, Aurier moving up the pitch into almost a midfield position. The other three defenders shifted across to create three at the back. With that high position of Aurier, Moura and Dele Alli then came more into the middle, and then Son would move further out onto the side of the pitch, and that would create a 3-2-4-1 at times. The three at the back, the two centre backs and the left back, the two midfield, Harry Winks and Dyer, and then as the fullback is moved into that forward position onto the wing, and Moura coming inside with Ali and Son moving out onto the left, and then Harry Kane of course up front. So why would Mourinho try to install this system with a 3-2-4-1? It's only when we put the system in between the players from West Ham that we can see the reasoning for this. Okay, so here I'm just going to highlight Dele Alli and Moura who's come inside. They've done that to try and make the most of the space either side of Declan Rice in that 4-1-4-1 system. By moving into those positions, they would then try and receive passes from the centre back, Sanchez, or from the left back, Davies, who are now in that three in defence system, to try and play the passes in between the left midfield and the centre midfield, or the right midfield and the centre midfielder. In between those gaps, in between, and try and get Lucas Moura and Dele Alli to receive in behind the lines and either side of Declan Rice. If we just take a look at the structure first, we can see that Sanchez, Alderweireld and Davies are providing that three of defence, and we can see Aurier just below the West Ham sign at the top to provide that height, and then the two midfielders, Dyer and Winks, creating that 3-2 system. And then I've just highlighted either side of Declan Rice, the space either side of him, and that gap between Noble and Yarmolenko, which they're trying to feed the passes into. When the ball comes into Ali, you can see that he picks up the ball in that space either side of Declan Rice and behind the midfield line from West Ham, and this actually created a great opportunity in the first few minutes where Ali was able to just play a little ball in between the defence from West Ham, and Kane made a move in behind which was just offside. And here's a really great picture of exactly the same thing, so I just highlight the three at the back. Then the two centre midfielders, Winks and Dyer. We can see the positioning, high positioning from the fullback, who's now into the midfield area. Lucas Moura, who's moved inside off the wing. and Dele Alli, Son on the left wing, and then Harry Kane up front. And there we can see again that space either side of Declan Rice, and trying to play the ball in between the midfielders, Noble and Yarmolenko, for Dele Alli to receive. Great picture there, and really highlights the way that Jose Mourinho set up his team to play against West Ham. So here's another angle of that pass in from Dele Alli with Harry Kane just offside, and just 2 minutes later, exactly the same thing. Again, just slightly offside, but a sign of things to come from Tottenham for finding those spaces in between the lines and either side of Declan Rice, and being able to play the balls into Harry Kane to cause danger. Taking a look now at the attacking positions when the fullback was low. So that's the right side of fullback when he wasn't as high up the pitch to create that 3-2-4-1 system. How did Tottenham attack, and how did Mourinho make the most of the spaces that would be created behind Declan Rice? So here we can see when the ball would be played into Aurier at that position where he wasn't high up the pitch, Anderson would go to press him, and quite often Snodgrass would go in to press Sanchez. So when that happened, Declan Rice would move on to Winks, and that will create space in between the lines where there was a variety of things happening. Either Dele Alli would move into this space to try and create the play, or Lucas Moura would come in off the line to try and receive the ball and come in field, with Dele Alli trying to find space behind the defence. And finally, the other thing which would happen would Kane would move into this space as well to try and receive the ball. So this space was really important, and there were numerous occasions during the game where Mourinho clearly trained this to try and work out the best way to beat West Ham. Here we can see the back three, Sanchez, Anderweireld and Davies. And when the ball comes into the fullback, the first one we'll take a look at will be when Lucas Moura comes inside. Okay, so when the ball comes into the fullback, this pass inside into Lucas Moura, we can see there that Declan Rice is there, and so is Noble. This is a different example. A couple of minutes later, Snodgrass jumps out into Sanchez. Winks follows up just behind him, and so Rice jumps out onto Winks, leaving that space in behind. The fullback picks his head up, plays that pass into Lucas Moura, coming in off the wing, where he's found the space in between Rice and Noble. This is the other example of the ball coming into Harry Kane in this space, and this time Lucas Moura is coming in off the wing to try and find space behind the defence. Dele Alli also trying to find space in between the defence as well. And so clearly, by using the fullback and attacking down that right hand side of the pitch, they're able to create that space for either Ali, Moura or Kane to move into, and it created danger throughout the whole game. Good tactics from Mourinho to find that space either side of Declan Rice in the attack, and also using that space when Rice steps out onto Winks to try and make the most of the space created. Now we'll take a look at the counter-attacking from Mourinho. Here we're just highlighting the four key players into their counter-attacks, with balls that come over the top into Son, Ali or Moura. Plenty of pace, and Kane either in behind too, or able to hold the ball up and lay it off into the path of these players. The second goal came from a counter-attack. Here I've highlighted Kane was just an offside position, Moura, Ali and Son. Ball came into Ali, actually fell over, but still managed to flick it round for Son to then create the counter-attack, run down the line and play a ball into Lucas Moura, which created the second goal. Another counter-attack, Lucas Moura after a corner, ball's played into him, Son and Ali. Look at Ali highlighted there in his own box, and he gets forward to support the attack, with Son and Moura leading it, with Harry Kane following up behind as well. And the ball in the end was played into Lucas Moura, and he had a great opportunity to make it 3-0, which he should have scored. Okay, so in conclusion, how did the special one manage to win the game? He used the space next to and behind Declan Rice to try and create the attacks, and they attacked quickly using the counter-attacks with their three main players up front, Dele Alli, Lucas Moura and Son. And that's how the special one attacked for Tottenham in his first game in charge. If you like this video, guys, please subscribe, please turn on those post notifications and follow us here at Football Scrutiny. Until next time.